to go and win the quadruple.
Atalanta! What an absolute set of bottling.
1-0. 1-0 to Atalanta.
Vamos! So cheers, lads. Thanks very much. Go and bottle the league now and complete the bottle.
Ah, Kelleher, man. Off.
Oh, Kelleher.
Oh,
no,
my
no, no.
days. Bring back Allison.
And Atalanta have gone 2-0 up and it's Scamacca again.
It's 2-0. It's 2-0.
Scamacca again.
Freaking. Guys, we just.
My aim is to go and win the quadruple.
And the flag stays down. Guess who got Atalanta?
Far too easy. Doing, lads. What are we doing? It's 2-0. It's 2-0, you
Utter absolute disgrace.
Going out. We're actually going out.
Where's the defence?
We're actually going out. Oh my day.
And Liverpool are 3-0 down at home.
I said from 2 hours ago from when I went live, give me Atalanta.
It's 3. It's 3-0, you absolute clowns.
Is that over? If you think we're going to Bergamo, wherever the fuck that is,
3-0 at home. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace.
Atalanta are 3-0 up at Anfield. No offside flag raised.
This is actually embarrassing. This is actually embarrassing.
My aim is to go and win the quadruple.
Atalanta! Vamos! I said from 2 hours ago from when I went live, give me Atalanta. Guess who got Atalanta? Boop, boop. The sound of the police. Boop, boop. I don't know why I'm singing that song, but we got Atalanta. We rigged it. We are Liverpool. We rigged draws, baby. Let's go. Bayer Leverkusen. I told man, run me Atalanta. And who did we get? Atalanta. I said from 2 hours ago, Atalanta, and we got them. Alhamdulillah. Husam said Atalanta, we got Atalanta.
Hey, it's the sound of the police. Whoop, whoop.
You know what gets me every time? When he goes, Atalanta! And he goes...
It's true, it's true.
Atalanta! Vamos! I said from 2 hours ago from when I went live, give me Atalanta. Guess who got Atalanta? Whoop, whoop. The sound of the police. Whoop, whoop. I don't know why I'm singing that.
The contrast is mad. It's so Sam, how are you today?
I'm good. I hope you're good as well. Yeah. Make sure you guys subscribe to This Is Football for more of this great content. You get me? Where you get to see me get clipped. So you clipped me earlier. Now I'm gonna do you for copyright infringement later on. Gonna submit a report to YouTube. This guy had infringed the copyright to my clips. But anyway, we're back on straight facts. I never hide. Despite Terry is paying me double today, I will say. So big up to all of you guys. Like and subscribe, share this video everyone as well. And yeah, we're here, win, lose or draw, man.
I mean, it was a bad loss, though, wasn't it? I mean, you break it down for us. What went wrong for Liverpool last night, in your opinion, Husam?
Everything went wrong, to be honest with you. Everything went wrong. There is nothing positive to say about that video, about that game, to be honest with you. Like, at the end of the day, we lost and it was humiliating and it was embarrassing 100%. There's no excuses. No one can say I told you so, because no one expected this. Everyone said that Liverpool are gonna beat Atalanta, and we were crap on the day. Defensive errors, forward line not taking their chances, and it's just boring at this point. Nunez, Gakpo, Diaz, same shit, game in, game out, and I'm just bored of it. I'm really bored of it, and it's just something that it's just getting to a stage where it's just I honestly don't even know what to say. Atalanta, I don't think we're going to do a remontada next week. because we don't have the players for that. We don't have the facilities for that. Ties over. We're out the Europa League. 100% we are out. You know, we don't have prime Sadio Mane, prime Firmino, prime Fabinho, Robertson who can cross a ball. We don't have a lot of things that that team had, you know. So now we're in a position where we're at, and we're out the Europa League, you know, and it's just on the league now. Let's just do our job in the league, which I don't predict that we will. But yeah, the loss yesterday was embarrassing. Everything went wrong. I thought Gasperini done well from a tactical perspective. Even when we ran in behind like once or twice, the guy just, you know, brought his team back, you know. So this is the one thing that I will say. He actually tactically kind of beat Klopp a little bit because he played on the counter attack. But I'm not going to blame Klopp for this game. It's on the individuals. It's on the players. Our forward line didn't take their chances. Our defense was crap. Same mistake Konate made for the second goal, Virgil made for the third. You know, Tsimikas came off and they still targeted that left-hand side with Robertson. Gomez is still shooting at the goal. 10 years without a goal for Liverpool Football Club. He's still attempting shots. Kelleher actually saved us, like low-key. I was thinking about this yesterday. Even though he made a mistake for the first goal, he did make a mistake. The rest of the game, though, he did save us. Like, he did make about 3-4 saves, because this could have even been worse than 3-0, let's be honest with you. So, yeah, our forward line just once again letting us down. Even Jota has been infested by the, you know, by the 3 bottle jobs we have at the front. Even he came on, missed 2 headers from 5 yards, which is his bread and butter. He made 2 clearances, basically. You know, Scamacca scored. The first 4 words of his letter is exactly what, of his name, is exactly what Porto, Benfica, and PSV done to us with the 3 transfers that we have up front. So, yeah, it's embarrassing. There is literally no excuses. There is nothing I can say. Everyone predicted Liverpool to beat Atalanta. There is no I told you so. But yeah, look, the warning signs are there. Atalanta were just clinical. We weren't. They took their chances. They won. They deserved to win. We did not deserve to win. I thought there's only 2 players, to be honest with you, that deserve a bit of credit in this game. And that's McAllister, just fighting alone in the midfield. Endo was crap. Szoboszlai, I have no idea what he's doing. I have no idea what he's doing. Alhamdulillah, I've never called him Hungarian Gerrard. I'm so happy I never called him Hungarian Gerrard. That wasn't me. I do not claim that opinion. Thank God. So, yeah, McAllister done well. And I actually thought Elliott was good in the first half as well. I was kind of shocked that he took him off because I thought he was at least trying to attempt something. But, yeah, we're out the Europa, man. We're out the Europa. 3-0 loss at home. Unacceptable. And it's embarrassing.
Do you believe that, Staffy? Do you think they're 100% out? Or do you think there's a little bit of copium there? Or do you think that's it? There's no way back for Liverpool now. Do you think that's a done, dusted deal?
Well, they're lucky they're not in the away goal era. Excuse me. Because if we were still in that away goal era in European competitions, it would have been over. 3 goals in your own backyard, it would have been over. I think it's still over because I highly doubt Atalanta don't score at least 1 against them. And I don't look at this team and I think they can come back from a 3-goal deficit. The old Liverpool, yeah, why not? The old Liverpool showed us a lot of examples where they came back in big games. Most historically was the Barcelona one. They lost 3-0 in Barcelona Stadium.
Are you saying, yeah, we have a chance or we don't?
And I'm saying no. I'm saying that team historically could have done that. This team now. I don't look at this team. I don't think you have the characters. I don't think you have the individual quality. I kept saying that this was my take all along. You guys are in a title race because of Klopp, not because of the players. Klopp literally juiced out everything out of these players that he has. Even when they were injured, he was getting the most out of the youngsters. This team, I'm not going to lie, this team is not good enough to even be in a title race, but you are. So I'm going back to saying that's thanks to Klopp. But I feel bad for Klopp because this is going to be last season and he's leaving with a Carabao Cup most likely because I don't think you'll win the league. I think this is going to affect your league form. I know a lot of people want me to say this. They want me to say that Ten Hag started this last week. We could shamelessly say that. But if we're being honest, which I try to be on Straight Facts, I try to put the shamelessness away and be objective as much as I can here. I think the writing was on the wall. I think it's been coming. I think when you go a whole season by winning shootouts, eventually you will run out of luck. Eventually you will run out of I don't want to say run out of motivation, because I feel like Klopp is very good at motivating his players. But we've seen yesterday, I said it to you yesterday, Husam, it's very unacceptable for you to be 1-0 down. You bring on Salah and Robertson and whoever else came on. then you end up conceding 2 goals. It's like, how would you lose? Would you concede 2 goals after you bring on your best players? It just doesn't make sense to me. Because I heard a lot of people talk about Tsimikas. Well, it didn't make a difference when Robertson came on. Konate was on and he couldn't defend against Scamacca. He was leaving him like 5 yards or 10 yards behind him on that goal. It's insane to me. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to be a hater and say this because obviously I do want it as a United fan, but I really do think this is gonna reflect into your league form because a lot of your players have been underperforming. I know I don't want to dwell too much over it, but some players, you're calling out some players, but there's some other players that we should call out. I just want to talk about this one guy and then we can move on, Terry. This Szoboszlai guy, I swear to God, this Szoboszlai guy gets away with murder. The way he gave up the ball in that 3rd goal, if this was Bruno, me and you would be on the stream right now fighting because you'd probably be trying to defend him and I would be like, get him out of my club. The fact that he doesn't get talked about enough, this Szoboszlai guy cost him like 70 million. Everyone said he's going to be the Hungarian Gerrard. He's going to be this. He's going to be that.
Here we go with everyone again. Here we go.
Yeah, I did not say Husam. Don't worry about it. You just said I didn't call him the Hungarian Gerrard. Don't worry about
Don't
it.
say everyone, then. The people.
Everyone else other than Husam, since you want to be so self-conceited. Yeah, everyone else other than Husam called him the Hungarian Gerrard. And this guy is legit the Hungarian Bruno. He's Bruno without the GA. That's really what he is because he doesn't keep the ball.
Don't disrespect Bruno. He is the Hungarian Jay Spearing, bruv. Don't shit on your own club while shitting on Liverpool. Like, let
me tell you why. Bruno gets so much criticism for giving away the ball, for not being press resistant, for not retaining the ball well. Rightfully so. I criticize him for the same thing. This guy doesn't, because he looks a little bit aesthetically more pleasing than Bruno. He gets away with it because he has a better dentist and he has a better haircut than him. He gets away with it. This guy is an absolute flop of a signing and doesn't get talked about enough. And this is probably going to be my new agenda. I'm going to start pushing this agenda. This guy has been an absolute waste of money. You can argue that it's Klopp's fault because he's not using him the same way he was used in his previous team or the Hungarian national team where he plays a little bit more as a 10. And I do hear that. But still, the amount of money that got spent on this guy and he's playing every game. I can't remember the last time he played well. So someone told me outside of the first 10 games they had in the season, he's been crap. And I do hear that. Because every time I watch him, he's horrible.
I think that answers your point, though. I think what happened is because he started well, it gave him a little bit of credit in the bank, and people are holding on to that. Well, we've seen him play well, so that will come back at some stage. But you are right. I mean, Darwin Núñez rightfully gets criticised, and I've held out on this for a long time. I think Liverpool have to move on from Darwin Núñez.
Welcome to the party, brother.
Yeah, I mean, I was really willing to give him time, but you realize he is just going to miss too many gilt-edged chances. Rack told us a stat last night, and I don't know whether this was in Europe or in the Premier League only, but out of 512 players ranked in goals scored versus expected goals, he ranks 511th. And the reason that he's so low is that he misses so many easy chances. And yes, he scores some goals, and he has scored a lot of goals. But if you had a prolific goal scorer up front, you'd be clear at the top of the league. Just a prolific goal scorer, not someone that scores 11%.
I wanted Toney, remember?
No, I understand what you're saying. You put Rasmus Højlund in his position, conversion rate wise, you are top of the league by 6, 7, 8 points by this stage.
I agree. 100%.
But I also agree with Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai's got more time. He's only been there this particular season, and maybe Amorin or whoever it is coming in will be able to get the best out of him. But I do find it strange, and maybe it's because, you know, my belief is that Liverpool are the media darlings. The lack of criticism that I've seen from anybody surrounding Szoboszlai, and maybe it's because also Liverpool have been top of the league, so I think we have to factor in those elements. But even, you know, you guys were 5 points clear at the top of the league. Players like him and Darwin have been putting in stinkers. You're now second in the league. You're out of the Europa League. Due to their poor performances, you're out of the FA Cup. Your potential quad has crumbled, and a large amount of it comes down to those individual players. And I think Liverpool fans have got to be ruthless here and demand their club doesn't sell all of them, but definitely Darwin's got to go. And Szoboszlai, he's got another season after this to prove he's worth 70 million, or you should be cashing in on him and buying somebody else. Look at City are doing. They went and got Kovacic and Núñez. 1 year they haven't been good enough. Bang, done a deal for Paqueta already because they know they can't afford to sit on their hands for another year. Liverpool, I think, have got to follow suit, in my humble opinion.
I agree 100%. And you ask for Liverpool to be ruthless. I hope the institution is now more ruthless. You know, obviously, there's not many positives with Klopp going because I was never Klopp out. You know, Terry, you can ask him. I've been doing shows for the last like 3 years. I never uttered the words Klopp out. Many people did. I never did. I was critical of him last season, rightfully so, but I never said the words Klopp out. The one positive about Klopp leaving, there's not much positives. The only positive I can say is there is no more loyalty to any of these players. Factually, I would sell Nunez. I would sell Gakpo. I would sell Diaz. I would even consider taking an offer for Endo unless he's a bench player. I'd sell Matip. I'd sell Robertson. There's many players I would genuinely get rid of. And I think this forward line is by far the worst. And I think, and I'm actually being serious, I think how many chances they missed and how low like confidence the forward line has, it actually affects like the others negatively. And it's the same shit with Jota as well. Like Jota yesterday. And you know, if you ask people who is the most clinical Liverpool forward, for me personally, I'd still go with Mo Salah because I feel like he takes more difficult chances because of the coverage he gets. But if many people will say Jota because he's very clinical in front of goal. The fact that he just missed 2 gilt-edged opportunities in front of goal is just you cannot explain that. And it's headers as well. It's literally Jota's like bread and butter. You know, his bread and butter is the headers. Like if all of you, regardless who you support in the top 6, have been on the losing end of a Jota header because that guy's very good in the air. He's a very good finisher. Even he's missing chances, and I feel I just don't know what it is when it comes to the forward line. They're just not delivering, you know. And it's just I'm bored because I never got involved in any of the mid-offs. People don't sit here and go like, who's better, Diaz or Gakpo? How about they're both not good enough and let's just get rid of both? Same thing with Nunez. I've had enough now. There's no need for us to just be sentimental all the time. And I think also there's another conversation here about Liverpool. I'm going to make it worse for my own club because it's factual. Liverpool have been conceding a lot of goals lately. We conceded four at Old Trafford, 2 at Old Trafford. We conceded home to Luton. We conceded home to Sheffield. We conceded 3 to Atalanta. We have been conceding goals. This is a worry now. Because like even Virgil is making mistakes and Konate is making mistakes. So it's not just because people want to scapegoat. I cannot scapegoat Konate alone. I cannot scapegoat Robertson alone or Tsimikas alone as a back line. And by the way, this is without Trent playing, so no one can run the whole Trent can't defend agenda and blame him. You know, they are making those mistakes. And I think last week I was one of the people. When Arsenal, you know, beat Brighton 3-0, people were talking about, you know, oh my God, Havertz is doing this, Havertz has done that, and you know, Arsenal front line is so good. I was like, no, let's talk about Gabriel and Saliba because defense wins you titles is the real thing. Van Dijk and Gomez and Alisson and Robertson and Trent that season that we won the league, they were on fire. They were on fire, you know, and that's why we won the league. And I feel like defensively, we really haven't been on it this year, and this is something that's really worrying me now. Because what's stopping us? Crystal Palace scored twice away at the Etihad. They scored twice at home to Manchester City. What's stopping us from conceding goals to them too?
Yeah, I mean, look,
you guarantee me that we beat Crystal Palace?
I mean, it's close because your home record is so imperious in terms of not losing, and you win most games. So, if we're being objective, yes. However, if there are a little bit of nerves that now creep in because the players are like at the FA Cup, probably out the Europa League, the pressure then mounts up. And the one question we did, I don't know if we did it on our show or a different one, we spoke about would the emotion for Liverpool.
Would you say a draw is a loss now, though?
Yes, a draw at this stage of the season in the title race. If in that game week, Arsenal and City both win, then a draw is almost as bad as a loss because you lose 2 points on your opponents. So
I agree with you. If we draw to Palace, it's league title over, by the way. Like I'm actually not being reactionary at all. I'm being dead serious. I already think we're hanging by a thread right now. But if we draw to Palace, it's genuinely title over. I'm actually not exaggerating at all. A draw now is just as bad as a loss. 100%.
Yeah, listen. So Ola here says, "Oh my God, yes, we've been conceding goals. Yet when was the last time we had we had our starting back 5? But that's irrelevant. We're talking about Liverpool's ability from this point to win the league. So, yes, you've got players out injured, but City have got players out injured. Arsenal have actually now got most back, but Orignal Timber's still out. He'd be in their starting 11. Arsenal have got pretty much a full squad, but City have got players out as well. But we're assessing Liverpool's ability to win in the landscape of what's actually going on. We're not going to sit here and go, but if Liverpool ever had everybody fit, maybe they'd win.
We're not going to pause the league for you.
Yeah,
how do you say his name? Olakunle. We're not going to pause the league until your goalkeeper is back. Don't do that.
Yeah,
I bet you Olakunle was probably last season dunking on Arsenal when they bottled the league, and he didn't consider that Holding was playing instead of Saliba.
Well,
so we're not switching the goalpost for you.
And this is the thing with Liverpool. It's they've got to maintain it in the Premier League now, because look, winning the Carabao Cup is good. If you just put aside the trophies that not everybody's entered into, so Community Shield, Super Cups, etc., 5 trophies in 9 years is good, because there's a Champions League and Premier League in there, but it isn't elite. And the narrative was, if we could win 3 or 4 more trophies by the end of this season, it's great for Klopp. And there's a comment that came through a minute ago, and I've got to highlight this, where it says, we were never 5 points clear, agendas are mad. I'm sorry to have to do this to you, but you most certainly at the end of January were 5 points clear at the top. Now, you were 5 points clear of Arsenal, who are now top, 46 to 51, unless my maths is off, is 5 points. And yes, you were 5 points ahead of Man City that had a game in hand, but you've maintained a little bit of a gap over them by a couple of points, but points on the board are worth more than games in hand. So to sit there as Liverpool fans and say you were never 5 points clear when the team currently top were 5 points behind you and by the way, at that point, you'd scored more goals than Arsenal and only conceded 2 more. The league table looks very different now. I think Liverpool fans need to be honest with themselves, and whether that's the manager in some people's eyes, whether it's the players like Husam has said, more Staffy has said, Liverpool fans have got to own this. So it goes, so we were never 5 points clear. Yes. Am I missing something here? They were 5 points clear of Arsenal, or am I making that up?
I think he's referring to City because they had a game in hand, obviously. So
yeah, but you're still 5 points clear of them. Okay. And either way, the team that's top was 5 points behind you.
Clear of Arsenal, yes, but not of City. I think that's
who cares about City, because City are not ahead of you in the league right now. Arsenal are on 46.
Because I say City are still going to win the league.
No, but it doesn't matter in the context of what Terry's talking about. Because when he's showing
it matters because City had a game in hand. It does matter.
No, it doesn't matter, and I'll tell you what.
Because you cannot count the. Since when do we say 5 points clear off the team in third?
Okay,
we say 5 points.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why Terry's saying that, because the team in third in that picture, that screenshot, is now the team ahead of you guys. City never caught up to you. You guys are only 1 point ahead of them.
What did I just say? We were 5 points clear of Arsenal. Once again, I just said that.
Yes, but this is what you're missing.
And I'm saying, I'm explaining to you the other perspective.
You're not listening.
When you say statements like Liverpool are 5 points clear, by definition, you're referring to the team in second. City had a game in hand.
It doesn't matter.
Sam, again, this is 2 ways. Yes and no. You were 5 points clear of both. Yes, City had a game in hand, but points on the board are worth more than a game in hand. But the team that is now top was 5 points behind you. Okay, you had scored more goals than them. Your goal difference was, your goals conceded was very similar. The turnaround from that point has been dramatic, and I think it pulls into the fact that you were talking about, and that fact is that your strikers have dried up a little bit of their goals. Your defense is now leaking. Since then, Arsenal conceded 5 goals. Since then, you've conceded 11 in the league as an example, and that is something. And that's only been 9 games, so that is something to conceding over a goal a game in the Premier League as an example. Huge amount of goals in the cup competitions. This needs to be focused on, and for me, I sort of feel as though Liverpool fans are trying to paint this picture of you haven't thrown this away through poor player performances, poor decisions in game. And I think that we have to keep in the same way we spoke about Arsenal last season, in the same way we've spoken about Man United, we have to look at Liverpool and say certain players need criticism, and you've thrown away excellent opportunities. You should have been in that semi-final against Coventry, which is basically a final in the FA Cup. And on paper, you should be beating Atalanta. But I think some arrogance from your club and fans in general that these games are going to be easy. Yesterday, I think your manager got it wrong with his starting lineup. Overall, and then individual players being poor. I think Liverpool need to be criticised, as opposed to all I've heard in the media today is, yeah, they can focus on the league now. It's okay. I think that's a very, very, very poor attitude.
Yeah, but people said the same thing about Arsenal last season. I'll tell you why this thing is being said. The reason why this is being said, and you might not like the answer, but it's the actual factual answer. It's just because the Europa League. Had we lost 3-0 at home to like Bayern Munich in the Champions League, it would have been a different conversation completely, because they would have been had like Liverpool as favorites to win the Champions League and all that. I know we're favorites to win the Europa League, but I'm saying about the prestige of the competition. Like people don't look at the Europa League the same way. They said the same stuff about Arsenal when they lost to Sporting Lisbon last season. Same stuff. Like, you know, they can focus on the league now. They'll be more dangerous with one game a week. So yeah, for me, it's the same. It's just the Europa League doesn't have the prestige of the Champions League, and that's why the criticism isn't as harsh. But I do agree with you in terms of the players let us down. Here's the thing, guys. You know, I keep the same energy I have for the Chelsea stuff and all this shit. I'm not gonna blame Klopp for a thing, because his job is to put the team in a position to score goals and to win. Factually speaking, Terry and Staffy are both United fans. They'll tell you Liverpool could have been 5-0 up at Old Trafford in the first half alone.
Yes.
Us missing our chances, Jurgen Klopp cannot substitute himself onto the pitch and score tap-ins. So the reality is he cannot score the goals. His job is to put a system and a way for us to score goals, for us to impact the game, for us to win the game. And the reality is he's done that, but we just haven't taken our chances. And yesterday, the offside line, as an example, if Konate holds the line in the second goal, we don't concede. And if Van Dijk holds the line in the third goal, we don't concede. So that even the offside trap would have worked, but we just didn't apply it well.
And I'm not overly blaming
Klopp. Klopp is blameless, but I'm saying
I agree.
Way less than I do the player.
I agree. This is more on the players in the last few games. And Sean sent for a super chat, which is really interesting, where he says most goals in the top 5 leagues in Europe. Well, look, that's true, but there's 2 things I'm going to break down here when it comes to that stat. Firstly, if you scored 1,000 goals, 1,000 in the first 2/3 of the season, and then you barely score goals in the final third of the season, you're probably not going to win anything, because scoring 10 goals against cannon fodder in the early stages of the Europa League does nothing for your credentials now. Premier League, it would make your goal difference better, but it's about what you're doing in the business end of the season. Don't talk like Tottenham. You sound like Tottenham fans who will speak about, oh, but look at the goal record and look at this. Yeah, but what does it lead to? Right now, at the crunch moments in the most important games of the season, this last 10 in the league and the latter stages of cup competitions, your players, both defensively and in the attack, have let you down, and a few midfielders like Szoboszlai. And I think Liverpool fans, who are fans of a club with a huge prestigious history, with a great winning tradition, should be holding their players to account and maintaining the standards. You're not at the beginning of a rebuild. You're not a club that's been in the doldrums for the last 20 to 30 years. You're big Liverpool Football Club, and you should be holding your players to account. The way I see some Liverpool fans speak, Klopp ain't to blame, the players ain't to blame, nothing's to blame. Well, what's gone on then? There has to be... I'm not talking about you being horrible to people. We're talking about what the actual issues are. I think, for me, saying that, Shawnee, I think is wrong personally, but that's just me. This year says, oh, here he is. It's 16. I didn't know what this meant the other day, 16-10. Husam, why are you so angry? You've wanted us to get knocked out all season. You should be celebrating. I told you about Szoboszlai for months as well.
I wanted us to get knocked out the Europa League when we were top of the league. You know, when we were top of the league and we looked like an institution who could win the Premier League, I wanted us, yes, to get knocked out of the Europa League, because I didn't think we could handle all these competitions at the same time, given our squad. Actually, I was right, because we ended up losing the FA Cup and now we're out the Europa League. So I was right anyway on that take. So don't try to be a smartass. Now that we're not top of the league after the Old Trafford game, I said after the Old Trafford game, Europa League now is priority, because that's a competition we can actually win. I didn't think we could win the Premier League after Old Trafford. So
question on that. So Man United have started your downfall, basically.
No, Man United have not started our downfall. Arsenal have started our downfall.
Did Man United break Liverpool and Klopp? Is that what I'm hearing here?
No. Arsenal did. Arsenal's loss away at Arsenal, the 3-1 loss, I think changed things for us. I don't think we were confident after that game. And the fact that we just squandered opportunities versus City at home and shit like that. That's why I was actually one of the few people, and you both have heard me say this, I was one of the few people who were actually mad after the draw at home. The problem is people always have short-term, like they just have short-termism. They just want to be top of the league in match day 30. They're like, oh, I'm 2 points ahead of City, so if I get a draw, it's okay. No, but that's not the point. The point is you have to give yourself margin of error. That's exactly why I was one of the only people that said we should beat Manchester City at home, and we didn't.
Chris here says Nunes' performance was 16 out of 10. That made me laugh. That
Best
I did
rejection
honestly.
ever, bro.
I got
Best
that clip I
rejection
put up
ever.
this morning.
So
Obviously,
happy.
I know Jan. I've been out with Jan, as in a group of people, not me personally. Me and her. I know Jan, and Eleanor messaged me today because she saw the clip laughing, and I'd never seen it before, but I'd seen people mention this 16-10 thing, and I did not get it. And then I watched the video. I felt so bad for him. He didn't even get a smile. I don't know the guy. He gives me a lot of crap on social.
That's
that
rejection
guy.
ever is Gakpo. Staffy, get it right.
Thank you, bro.
No, it's just because he costs more.
This
Hey,
is
both Ten Hag wanted him, so more reasons to want Ten Hag
I'm
out. So.
so glad we didn't get either. So if Liverpool win the league, then fixed from rivals, like they said, 19. And what if Arsenal don't win nothing? Okay. I don't understand.
I don't know what you mean, Andrew. Big up to you, Andrew, right? But I generally don't understand what you mean. What if Arsenal win nothing? If Arsenal win nothing, it's also a failure. Same energy, bro. We don't change the energy.
Of course.
Yeah, Arsenal have to win.
Andrew also says, I hope we play 5-4-1 in big games next year with Ruben.
Yes.
The change in formation for them next year is gonna be insane. This is why the other day in the chat I was commending what's his name, Tom Little for that. I was like, I mean, kudos to you, because the change of football. I feel like a lot of Liverpool fans are not going to be ready for that change. For 9 years, you've been playing this very quick spamming like football, where there's like no patience on the ball. There's no proper build up. There's no proper actually using a midfield to control games. The reason you guys control games is because you just attack, and the club has been so good at having a team that wins the ball so quick, just so they can go and attack right away. Going to a 3 in the back is gonna be like us going from Fergie football to Louis van Gaal football. I'm not saying Amorin is gonna be boring, but I don't think a lot of people are used to that. And in the beginning, I feel like Amorin, when he first comes in and he does do that, and he's going to change a lot of the football and the individuals, a lot of people are going to go out on him early. That's an early prediction that I have. A lot of people are not going to have the patience for him.
Yeah, I mean, the deal, I spoke to a couple of journalists who have they keep posting nothing's been agreed. I've messaged them privately, said, what you actually heard, though? They're like, yeah, we heard it's done, but we're just being told. We're being briefed by the clubs to not publish that, which is also proves the point that a lot of other people say that I'm not saying journalists lie, but they most certainly release stories when they're told to sometimes, as opposed to just pushing it out there. But yeah, Amorin to Liverpool, I think, is about as done as you can get without it being announced. So yeah, it's going to be a different world for Liverpool next year, and who knows? No one knows how it's going to go. Everyone's going to have a prediction. No one knows for sure. It could be disastrous. Equally, the other end of the spectrum, it could be sort of Shankly Paisley-esque, where suddenly someone comes in and makes some changes with this squad and a few new players, and you go on to win even more than you've won. There's a talk that Pep might leave at the end of next year. So you might not even be as good without Amorin, but you may go on to win more trophies. Who knows? But yeah, I'm intrigued, but I think it's going to be an interesting one, to say the least. Jack here says, our best defense, most clean sheets, most goals scored came during the injury crisis and playing the kids. They want it more. Players come back and we got worse.
That's why I said I blamed the individuals.
We
Klopp
had
done
tougher
nothing
fixtures
different.
when the players came back. When the real players came back, the fixtures were just tougher. The kids, let's be real, the kids beat Southampton. They beat the worst sporting project in football history, and they beat a couple of teams that we were expected to beat anyway. So, listen, the kids did really well when they came in. Who did we beat? Forest away. I think we had Bobby Clark in midfield. So we had a couple of good games, but I'm not going to sit up here and blame the players that came back.
But like your
the players that were there.
Yeah. Riyadh here says the 16-10 thing was nearly 3 years ago. People need to get a grip. Also, Husam, when we linking up at the ground, I need to teach you about ball.
I actually have a screenshot of him sending a super chat on my channel going like, Husam, I apologize. If I send it to Terry and he puts it on the screen, it'll be end game for you. So be careful, brother.
I also get the 16-10 thing was 3 years ago, but most of us have only just seen it, so it's funny.
And also, no one said 16-10 to a woman.
I saw a really funny clip the other day. I'm going off on a tangent here, from a show in England which is called Dogs Behaving Badly, It's all about this guy that goes into the homes of people with really unruly dogs. And they do this scene where they make this dog stay in the hallway and not run up to the door and bark and leave the house. And then they cut outside, they're hugging, and oh my God, I can't believe he's not barking. And as they split apart from hugging, the dog's up at the window barking, right? But they edit it so you can't hear it. And then they cut back inside and he's sitting in the same position, right? Now that clip's about 7 years old, but I only saw it yesterday, so I found it funny. My point here is, I only just saw you got air by the girls. It is funny, bro. But thank you for the super chat, my G. It is funny. Have faith for Sam. Don't let them put us down, is what Shawnee says. Have faith.
Yeah, have faith.
Have a faith.
Have
Faith.
some
Faith.
belief.
Yeah, have faith.
I believe we would win the league 100%. It's just me not believing, bro. I'm completely with you. The reason why we didn't win is I don't believe.
You were singing different in the beginning of the season.
There we go.
That's what it is.
Let's have a little look here. Big up, boys. Are we not talking about the second top scorers in the league? Big up, guys. Defender there is where it's at. No, we are talking about the second one of the best scorers in the league, but what we're talking about is the context of recently it's dried up a little bit. And if you dry up this weekend and only score one and Palace get an equaliser and you drop 2 points, that's huge in the title race. If this blip was earlier on in the season and they went through a 3 or 4 game period where they weren't quite scoring enough, that's recoverable. At this stage of the season, it may not be. And we're talking about, will it impact winning the league? And when you consider most people think the league is going to come down to a singular point or two, every goal scored, every goal conceded matters hugely at this point, Trader IQ.
Also, Mike, you need to understand something. Luton away, City at home, Arsenal at home, Man United away, Man United at home. We're all points where our forward line let us down. My problem sometimes with people, and I see a couple of them in the chat, oh my God, just believe this Husam guy is showing his true colors. He's not a real Liverpool fan. All this cringe shit that people just say. So if we blame the forward line, it's a problem. We blame the defense, it's a problem. I didn't even blame Klopp, and it's still a problem. Like, you guys, let's just be honest about the situation that we're in. We used to have Sadio Mane, we used to have Bobby Firmino, we even used to have Divock Origi. Divock Origi, I'm not even exaggerating, the 18-19 version of him is a genuine better finisher than the 3 that we have up top right now. I wish I'm exaggerating, I'm not. I think if you give Divock Origi the 28 big chances missed that Darwin Núñez had, he'd be on 20 goals right now. He'd actually be on 20 Premier League goals. So it's not just like, it's the reality. The reality is some of these players have let us down, and it's factual. And yeah.
Sorry, Husam, I need to drop a 5 just alone for your face at the beginning. Thank you, Ray. I appreciate that. Need new front 3 and owners and new ideas. Well, you don't need new owners. You just need new. You got loads of new people coming in.
He sounds like United.
He here says, Terry, did you read? I don't want to mispronounce that, boys. How do I say that?
Surat al-Qiyamah.
No, I haven't had a chance to yet, but I will. I've just been very busy, man. Half term this week. Kids have been off, so that's been crazy. Please play the 1610 video. I don't have that video, so I can't play it. I don't actually have that like on my hard drive or anything, but I'm sure Sam does.
We'll send it to you. We'll send it to you.
Oh, send it to me. Thank you. If they are out of the Europa, where does that leave Klopp's legacy if they do win the league title?
Josh, do you just like imitate what everyone else says? Like, oh my God, can Arteta surpass Klopp's legacy? Oh my God.
He didn't mention Arteta.
No, I'm just saying in general. That's what people have been saying lately, It's just about legacy. Guys, Klopp's legacy is surpassable. Mourinho's legacy is surpassable. Wenger's legacy is surpassable. Pep's legacy is surpassable. Even Ferguson's legacy is surpassable. There's no such thing as you cannot surpass a legacy, full stop. There are people right now who say Pep's a better manager than Ferguson. I don't agree with that. I think Ferguson over Pep in the Premier League. But there are people who say that factually. I'm not making this up. There are people who say that. If Jurgen Klopp leaves Liverpool Football Club this season with 1 league title and a Champions League, of course, someone can surpass his legacy. Where does it leave his legacy? I've been fair with this conversation from the start. I said he's the fifth. I put him 5th. So I go Ferguson, Pep, Mourinho, Wenger, and then I put Klopp 5th. So obviously there could be someone that comes in and obviously overtakes his legacy. This is just factual.
Whether you know what the problem is, though?
It's just reality. So
and by the way,
sorry, I just want to say one thing. If let's assume, for the sake of argument, Klopp win this season, he could also overtake Wenger and Mourinho in people's eyes. So, like, you know, it could go up and down. Like this legacy talk, you cannot just full stop it and that's it, because you don't know what's going to happen in the future.
But let me tell you why. But I think that's why he asked that question, and I hope that I'm correct when I say this. Everything you said, yes, and of course, it's not facts that no one is ever going to surpass someone's legacy, but Klopp's legacy is so easily surpassable compared to the other names that you said, which is why this is a question. Like, for you to surpass Fergie's legacy, I'll tell you why. If you want to surpass Fergie's legacy, you need to stay at a club for quarter of a century.
No, forget Ferguson. The other two, though. How's it more difficult?
I'll tell you.
Mourinho and Wenger, tell me.
Let me just explain it. Ferguson, as an example, 13 Premier Leagues in 26 years. That's a mad stat. To win basically 50% of your Premier Leagues while being there for that long, that's hard to surpass. Obviously, doing a treble, doing a double, that's hard. Same thing for Pep. Pep has won, 6 out of 7 leagues, 3 in a row, potentially could be 4 in a row, a treble, plus the way he played football, that's hard to surpass. It takes a lot to surpass these two. Then you go to Wenger. Wenger's a little bit easier to surpass, which is why people put Mourinho over him, because at least he won a few Champions Leagues in his career. Not with Chelsea.
Sorry? Which one of them do you have third?
I have Mourinho third. I have Mourinho over Wenger, because at least he did it back-to-back. And that one season where they conceded, how many goals was it? 14 goals? I forgot what it was. That's 15. A crazy stat. Then you go to Klopp. Klopp has never won the double, so he never did a Premier League domestic double or that Champions League. That shameless picture that people put all 4 trophies next to each other and pretend that they were all won in the same season. No. You won the Premier League a season after you won the Champions League. I don't care when you took the picture. They took that 1 week gap before the Champions League final was being played, before they had to return the cup, and they just start taking pictures. That's shameless. He doesn't have a double, and he doesn't have a title defense where he won it back-to-back. Arteta could literally this season surpass him by winning both of them together. If he does, he's already ahead of him for me, because I know he's going to end up winning a few domestic cups in the future that people don't play.
You see why I said you're
yeah, but a double by itself already puts him in front of me.
No, you just actually destroyed your own argument without realizing. You just said if Arteta wins this season, I know he's going to win in the future. Okay, if this stream was happening in 1920. After we won a Champions League the year before,
and I said the domestic cups.
Year, 1 second, and I told you Klopp is not going to win a title for the next 5 years. You wouldn't believe me.
No, but I'm talking about the domestic cups.
Hear me out. You cannot speculate. Mourinho has 3 titles in England. Wenger has 3 titles in England. Mourinho has not won a Champions League in England. Wenger has not won a Champions League in England. Factually speaking, I know for a fact if Jurgen Klopp wins the Premier League this season, there will be people who will say 2 Premier Leagues and a Champions League is better than 3.
That also changes. That also changes.
Okay, no problem.
If he does one more, I'll change my narrative.
Okay, no problem. But what I'm saying is, Alex Ferguson and obviously is a more difficult legacy to surpass, 100%. I'm saying Jurgen Klopp's legacy is surpassable because let's say Amorin, I'll use my own club. Let's say Amorin comes in to manage Liverpool Football Club. He wins 3 titles and like 2 Champions Leagues in a period of 6 years. Then he himself surpasses Klopp. It's not a problem. I understand what you're saying. All I'm saying is we can't speculate.
I agree. I agree because if you go back 4 or 5 years ago, I was adamant that Liverpool would have won more big trophies between then and now, and I thought Klopp could go on to be second at that time, second or third.
Exactly
in the Premier League tiering. What I will say though, with Arteta, if Arteta did win one of the big ones this year, or by some chance did both, it becomes a massive debate because he'd be 5 years into his managerial career with an FA Cup, a Premier League, and a Champions League, and you look at him very, very differently. But look, we'll come to that conversation when more things are won. Viewers hit like buttons and share
in 4 years with less money.
Let's get some of these super chats here. Terry has more chance being PM. Prime Minister than anyone surpassing Sir Alex's legacy. Sorry, Terry. Well, no, be sorry. I don't want no one to surpass Sir Alex, and I also don't want to be Prime Minister, but thank you.
That's not true, though. Someone could surpass him. If Pep stays at Manchester City for the next 10 years, who's stopping him?
Yeah. I mean, I just don't think anyone's going to do 25 years at a club and win that amount of trophy. Again, I don't think... I mean, there might be a manager that comes along again that's as good as Pep and as good as Fergie in our lifetime, but it's going to be a long way off.
Very unlikely. Very unlikely.
If it goes bad next year, will Liverpool value go down? Not massively. Liverpool's value won't drop massively after a year, a bad year or two. No.
Rather, Spurs value their club at 4.5 billion. So
Yeah.
obviously our club isn't going to go down that much.
You have to question Liverpool's defending. They give too many opportunities to their opponents. Their attack has got them over the line in some games. It's true.
Yeah, and then when the defense plays really well and we defend well, the attack misses chances.
No, but
So
we've
I
been
don't
saying
know,
that though.
it's just-
That
No, but yesterday we
super chat was
did
not
3 at
new.
Atalanta. Go ahead, Staffy. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that super chat is not new. The Klopp's system has always required a lot of one-on-one defending. The difference is this team is just not as good as the older club teams. The older club teams had prime Fabinho, prime Van Dijk. You can still argue if he's in his prime if you want, but even Konate and the rest of the back line, they're not as good as the back line back then. Your front line is not as clinical as it was in the past. So when you play a system that on the front and in the back end requires a lot of one-on-one focus and a lot of one-on-one brilliance, you end up seeing results like this. Like Mane, Firmino, and Salah was the best front line you guys had under Klopp because everyone was a one-on-one demon.
Yeah.
And they were very clinical. Now, these players are not. Same thing for the back line.
I agree. And Jackie, you are right. If City is stripped of titles, it changes the conversation. And Staffy gets it. It's just interesting to discuss. And the reason why the stripping of titles just very quickly changes it, because they may not repurpose those trophies to somebody else. But then you look at Klopp's era and you think, well, if City
3-time Premier League winner, basically.
Well, but if you look at it and go, if City cheated in that time, you may only have one Premier League. But that's why I think people are not. I know we don't know the ins and outs yet, but yet some people act like it isn't that serious. And I'm like, you don't understand. It takes the last decade away. The last decade of football, every conversation about our game changes because of that influence. So we have to wait until that all comes out. And I haven't missed the other super chats, but they're not kind of related directly to this point. So I'll come back to them a little bit later in the show. Don't you worry about that. I want to move on to another subject, and we're going to come back. Tom sent a super chat in a really big one, which we'll go through, which is Arsenal related. Jim, yours, and Nick's. We'll come back to all of your super chats. We haven't missed them. But Chelsea, a few weeks ago, I got a lot of stick from certain Chelsea fans online because of this reported £200 million black hole. Nazir Kinsella, one of their leading sort of journalists, has now come out and stated there's at least £100 million black hole, which a few weeks prior, the Chelsea press was saying everything's all okay. And I want to just present this to you guys because this is really, really interesting. So you've seen the new Premier League conversation surrounding how much clubs can spend, and it's going to be 80 to 85% of their turnover they can spend. Now, some basic maths have been done here by Kieran Maguire, and a lot of people are angry because it looks like all the big teams can spend. So this is essentially if you're under or over the current squad cost cap, and you can see Man City, Spurs, United, Liverpool, well over 100 million below that cap, meaning lots more to spend on player salaries, lots more to spend on transfer fees. If you boys remember, I spoke about our Chelsea were well over that cap, and you can see there, even under the new rulings, there's 71, look, this is one person's calculations, 71 million pounds over that limit, which is crazy. But a lot of people are kicking off this new rule is just to help the big clubs again that can spend. Brighton, by the way, they've got loads coming in. They can spend.
Can you please put up that thing again, the graphic?
Yes.
Who's actually next to them?
So underneath them is Leicester. Leicester have overspent. If you look at all the teams that have overspent, they're all the teams that right now.
Everton and Forest both got charged.
Yeah, they're under. It's all the teams that have been charged or need to sell at the end of the season. They've all overspent. They've absolutely all overspent. And they haven't achieved their objectives. They haven't brought the money in they needed. But a lot of people think, well, this is just to help the big clubs. And it isn't. It isn't really going to help that extra 10 to 15% because UEFA is 70%. So that extra 10 to 15% doesn't help Liverpool or City or Man United because you can't spend 85% because then you're going to get banned from Europe. And this is scary for Chelsea because when you apply the European numbers to this, Brighton, Spurs, City, United, and then Brentford and Liverpool are all okay. Look at City if they want to get back into Europe. They're currently spending on average every year £152 million more than they're allowed to. So when I've said, and this is what I keep saying to Chelsea fans, push and ask questions. This idea of a £200 million black hole genuinely could exist. Yes, they're going to sell players, which is going to bring money in, but they've also got to buy. They can't just sell. They've got to buy. Their income is reducing because they're not in Europe. Yes, they've got new sponsors, but their old ones with similar amounts of money. I keep saying this to Chelsea fans. You guys could be in some trouble. They're talking about getting £50 million for Conor Gallagher at the end of the season. I know they've got Lewis Hall money coming in, but they're still talking about this. And I've read all the things here today. 40 million for him, 40 million for Broja, 30 million for Chalobah. What do you boys think? Do you think Chelsea are going to get stung, especially now the Premier League has said points deductions are here to stay?
Get Poch out of my club. Get Poch out of my club. This is all Poch's fault. Poch out, Poch out, Poch out, Poch.
That's all they say. Let's have a real conversation about Chelsea. There's people in the Chelsea fan base who call this Clear Lake ownership clown lake. Factual. They are clowns. I think they've run Chelsea into the ground. I think the decisions that they've made have been detrimental to Chelsea Football Club. They haven't been positive. I think some of the price tags that Chelsea... I still think Chelsea will get out of it because Chelsea will be able to sell players. I'm not going to sit up here and say, about Chelsea not going to be able to sell players. I still think they will be able to sell players and they will be able to make that £71 million up. It might, but the reverse of it is it might still affect their spending on the other side in terms of like who could they get in. Now the issue is this is the longer term issue which Chelsea will suffer with. Let's assume they want to sell Mudryk 2 years from now. They want to sell Enzo 2 years from now. They want to sell Caicedo 2 years from now. If any of these guys, are still on 5-6 year contracts by the time, which they will be, it will be very difficult to sell some of these players because of their contracts, because of how long their contract is. We all know they're on death row contracts basically right now at Chelsea. So I'm looking at the situation that Chelsea are in right now, and it's not necessarily the selling that worries me, because I know they can make that money up. Like hell, they could even sell Sterling for like 10 million to a mid-table Premier League club. They could find them the selling somewhere, but it's just the buying that it will affect on the reverse. That's the reverse effect of it. And I think from a Premier League perspective, this is what I don't understand. Actually, no, I do understand. I think they probably are not giving Chelsea harsh punishments or City harsh punishments because the Big Six is the thing that gets them money. Like the Premier League still want to make money, and Chelsea do have a global fan base, because of Daddy Roman. But now there's no Daddy Roman anymore. Now it's Daddy.
Yes and no. Yes and no. Though, as of right now, Chelsea haven't breached profit and sustainability, so there's no charges to answer. They look like they're on the brink of it right now. As an example, where they have to be careful, Gallagher, Chalobah, Maatsen may go to Dortmund as an example. But where they have to be mindful is this: when you look at these statistics here, and we'll do the Premier League ones just to be careful. If Spurs want to buy Gallagher, they can. They've got 153 million surplus, according to this particular report. So they could afford to do that. But say Fulham, I don't think they will, but say Fulham wanted to buy Broja for 30 million. Fulham can't do it until after the end of June. Otherwise, they'll breach. And this is the issue. Most of the clubs that would buy the quality of player they're selling are either close to the limit or over the limit anyway. And that's why I think Chelsea fans have got to push really hard through their associations and into the club around, do you genuinely have a plan around this? Because if they don't make it this year, unless they improve dramatically next season, they're going to be up against it again. And this isn't going to end quickly.
They won't improve.
And there's a super chat. It says, Terry, how come City have underspent and still have 115 charges? Because City's charges are nothing to do with overspending. It's the charges that the value of the club in terms of the money that's come in via turnover has been inflated over the years via fake sponsorships and other mechanisms. And they've paid money out off the books to pay for certain things that actually their income, it shouldn't be anywhere near it where it is. Maybe it's natural now, but they believe it was created sort of synthetically before it became a bit more organic later on down the line. A little bit like Avatar 1. Do you know what I mean? That's what.
And by the way, that picture actually proves that it explains the charges more than you think. Because if Terry can just put it up one more time, when you look at the numbers of Manchester City, like the turnover and the returns, the fact that it's 154, given the fact that they did spend about 200 something million after winning the treble, shows that that's like this 150 million is what they're getting charged for foundationally. which is the sponsors and all this stuff.
Yeah,
like
I kind of get there. Yeah. So I would just say to the viewers that the investigation that Chelsea are under for potentially doing dodgy dealings under Roman and the 115 charges that Chelsea are facing, they're connected to FFP and profit and sustainability, but it's not for breaching it. It's for cheating the system. And it's because the problem is the media uses the word breach on both stories, and they shouldn't use the same words. They should change the language to make it a little bit easier. But I looked at this. I look at Chelsea's league position. They've got to improve. What I'm seeing from the media is this slow bleed of news from there is no issues, we're going to spend big, to, oh, there could be 100 million black hole, where other financial experts only a month ago were saying it's a 200 million black hole. And there is some guesswork that goes into this, because you've got trading accounts that you don't know the exact ins and outs of what's going on at a football club. But this should be scaring the living daylights out of Chelsea when you see this list here of teams, right? And all the teams in red, barring Chelsea and I suppose Leicester, are either facing charges or have been charged, and you're in it. To not have any concern, I think, is genuinely crazy. If you sit there and think, it's all going to be okay with Chelsea, that don't cut it for me. That don't cut it for me.
You know what's more worrying for me? If I'm a Chelsea fan, forget all the financials. A lot of people don't understand the financials. Sometimes they choose to ignore it. Blah blah blah. It's all fine. The fact that after looking at all this, if you're talking about the football, just the football, your team is not even good enough right now. Everyone knows that they need to go into the summer and address big issues in this team. And now you're talking about something that could set you back financially, which means you're most likely going to end up with the same amount of players, if not less, because now you have to sell. I'd be more worried if I just wanted to focus on the football, because now I got to watch these shit players again. There's so many players that are so crap in this team, and you can't go and address these issues in the summer. And let's not act, a lot of people like to act like Chelsea have always been financially well and all that stuff. Let's not act like you guys haven't been in financial troubles before. Like, remember when they got banned from signing players for like a season or two? I forgot how long it was. Like, you guys have history of sometimes getting your finances
two transfer windows, no?
Something like that. That's what I'm saying. It was,
January
it was
and
two
summer.
or yeah. This is not the first time this is gonna happen. Obviously, it's different, but this is not the first time financial issues is being revolved around your club. I'd be more scared if you don't want to care about the finances and leave that to the bankers and to the people running the club. That's all fine. But now knowing that you need to go into next season with less capability of signing players, if at all, that would worry me, because you have so many deficiencies on the pitch that you needed to address. But now you might not be able to address it. So where does that leave you? Not just wholly as a club and FFP rules and deducted points and all that. Now on the pitch itself, you're still going to be crap. And that means one more thing, and this is going to piss people off, Chelsea fans. Poch is not going nowhere. No way Poch is going anywhere in the middle of all this. They won't pay him off. I don't know how much his payoff. I know usually managers are on good contracts, even though Poch, I believe, he's only on a 3-year contract, something like that, so it might be less. But they won't be wasting money on sacking another manager when they have money to make up for it. No chance.
And what's interesting is that they're probably going to get rid of Sterling, who's on 300 odd grand a week. You know, you look at other players that might go from that list who are on big money. You know, Thiago Silva is actually not on that much money. He's only on 110,000 base, according to this one source I'm looking at here. All the other guys, will Ben Chilwell go? Maybe. He's on 200 grand a week. The other names of players that are all going out the door, for instance, right? Broja, 40,000 a week. Gallagher, 50,000. Chalobah, 50,000. In terms of the overarching cost, it's taking some money away, but the level of player they need in to level up, you know, they're still talking to Victor Oshermans of this world and Ivan Toney's of this world, and the like. These guys are going to want 200,000+ a week coming in. So if you get rid of £500,000 a week in salaries through selling people, but you bring in £1 million a week in the 4 or 5 players that come in, again, that's a huge amount of money growth when you're trying to reduce outgoings. And it's, again, I know some Chelsea fans will play it all down, and I know that some people in the media and some people may dramatize it up. I'm very happy to concede that it may not be as much as a £200 million black hole. That's why, you know, the title of the video has a question mark on it, because is it that high? But there is a hole of some sort that when you look at all the financials, unless they're getting a huge injection of cash that nobody's expecting of 100 to 150 million pounds. I don't see how, if they sell and spend, they're not in the same position the following year unless they improve dramatically and get back into Europe. But at the moment, with how much they're over, if they get back into Europe, they won't be able to compete in it anyway, and they'll get banned. So it becomes a cycle. And I just feel I'm just intrigued to see how they're going to get out of this, Chelsea, if I'm being honest with you, because, you know, on the pitch is one thing, but listen, and all of this can impact players. At the end of the day, when there's turmoil off the pitch, it manifests itself on the pitch as well. We've seen it at all football clubs since the dawn of time. When things are settled, when things are in a good space, it improves things. But yeah, look, it's sad fans need to be financial experts now. It's not about being a financial expert. It's about listening and asking questions and then asking for it in base. I'm not ever sitting here claiming to know everything. I get things wrong as well, and I say that on nearly every show that I do. But have you ever gone out, Patrick, and you've left the iron on or the oven on, and it's something in the back of your head all day that makes you think, I've done something wrong, or you forgot something? That's how I feel about Chelsea. I look at it and go, something ain't stacking up. And when I see fans saying, it's going to be fine, I look at the numbers, I look at the facts and think to myself, there's a fire going on here, and it seems to be getting ignored. But look, viewers, have your say on it. Give us your views and opinions around
I
what
think
you
this summer you'd see
happen.
a difference in attraction and the allure of going to play for Chelsea. I think this summer is the first summer where you will notice the difference. Because, yes, people did grow up watching Drogba and Lampard and Essien.
I just want to say, sorry, again, it's not speculation. Speculation makes it sound like a guess, John. It's based on factual information that's come out from the football club that's public, okay? So the numbers are not wrong. The only speculation within it is exactly how much you have to be over and under by, what you will get breached by, and nobody publicly quite knows exactly how much money is coming into Chelsea, exactly how much you're going to sell people for, because a lot of it, the media reports on, is undisclosed. But it's a very good estimate for where people are. So again, if you want to ignore it because it's not being rubber stamped by Chelsea, that's fine. But it's based on your official trading account. So it isn't just some random number some expert has pulled out the sky. Please, please challenge your football clubs. It's important to. If Fiorentina and Liverpool don't win next week, no top 5 for England. For England next year.
Out of the Europa League, basically.
Right. There we go.
Well, we
have to win our games. We might finish 10th if we don't improve our things. But no, you don't need to be a financial expert, Patrick. You just need to listen to the financial experts and to a degree, ignore the journalists. To a degree, because the journalists will just push out whatever the club is telling them for a certain period of time, and they'll slowly drip feed in the problems. Great show as always. Hit the like button. Yeah, make sure you hit the like button, people. 4,500 people watching. So get that smashed right now. Big weekend for Arsenal, because I know you've got Palace and that's a little bit slippery maybe after last night. But Manchester City, we know they've got a gimme. They're playing Luton at home. That is 3 points for them, 110%.
I have Staffy, a feeling in my... I'm just kidding.
Staffy, how do you see Arsenal getting on against Aston Villa Sunday 4:30?
Yeah, it's a good start with the Arsenal fan.
That's why I went to him.
But a few weeks ago, he said I was a Spurs twerker. This guy, listen, I'm telling you, this guy's confused. You're confused, brother. You're confused.
You're a London twerker at this point.
Yeah,
it's just anything London, you're all for.
It's fine. They told me at some point I twerk for Liverpool. That's when I thought I heard it all. The minute people told me I twerk for Liverpool, I knew it was over. Anyways, Arsenal. I mean, I was disappointed at them in the weekend. Midweek. Because I actually predicted them to win. I hate nothing more than bigging up someone or a team and then they let me down. It just really pisses me off, especially when it's one of my rivals. Like, you just made me look stupid. But I will say this: Arteta
what are you
not
talking
blamed
about
for the week. Arsenal.
Didn't they win last week?
No, I said midweek.
Oh yeah, my bad. Sorry.
So the Champions League. Yeah,
they were robbed, man. We were robbed.
They were not robbed. It was not a penalty. Let's just move on. Terry's doing way too much right now. Anyway, this is why you'll never beat the Arsenal allegations. Terry.
This is why your mic almost fell off. Even your mic.
You'll never beat the allegations.
My mic didn't fall off. I knocked the speaker over, but I don't. Do you know what it is? I don't care about beating the allegations. It's one of them ones where I always used to say this to an ex-girlfriend of mine: if you're going to keep accusing me of cheating when I haven't, I might as well just go and cheat. I'm getting the punishment for it. I might as well get the fun as well. So if you're going to call me an Arsenal fan, I might as well just embrace it.
I was about to say he's actually embracing it at this point.
If they win, he'll go to the parade. That's what he's trying. He's
I
trying to
won't-
set us up to that.
I
That's
won't
what he
do
should
that.
do.
Like, I won't do that. I won't even watch him lift the trophy. Like, I'm not like that invested in it. But yeah, sorry. Back to you, Staffy. Go on, man.
No, you're good. Anyways, yeah, they let me down during the week. I feel like they let Arteta down because I think Arteta played the correct. He approached the game, in my opinion, the correct way, and I didn't like a lot of the hate that he got. I feel like you should have called out the individuals a little bit more than the manager, because when he set up different against City and he played a little bit more pragmatic, people called him a coward. When he goes and he plays his regular game against Bayern, and Bayern are nowhere near as good as City have been, people are now saying, "Oh, he was naive. Oh, it's the lack of experience." He's like, doomed if you do, doomed if you don't. If you're Arteta, and I'm gonna support Arteta on this one. He was let down by the individuals. I heard Dayu saying, "Oh, we should have played to our strength with his defense." That's absolute nonsense because your best ability is not defending. You defend very well because you keep most of the ball and you barely concede any attacks. And when you do, your defenders have been doing well. It's not like you're this is not a prime Jose Mourinho team that actually leaves the ball to the opponents because they can't get past their back line. So this just made no sense to me. Arteta was let down by his individuals. Saliba, Gabriel, Rice, they just weren't on their game. And listen, fair enough. Arteta did what he was supposed to do. But they didn't see the game out. Now going into the weekend, I think they'll bounce back. I think this Arsenal team has shown us that the mentality has changed, in my opinion. Is it champions mentality? I can't call that yet because I need to see them win it. But I've seen them too many times this season have a not such great result, and then they go to the next game and they're fine. They really haven't had that. If I'm not wrong, I don't remember how many bad runs they've had. No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I think if anything is gonna go and push them to win, because they deserved. I think I don't want to say they deserve because they made the mistakes versus Bayern, but idealistically, the way they played football, they were still dominating Bayern on so many metrics of the game. Bayern is this one team that if you make a mistake against them, you'll pay because they still on paper have so many brilliant individuals. They're not just brilliant collectively, they're not brilliant. That's the difference. Which is why in the first half, they were down 2-1 after conceding only 2 shots, including a penalty. That's 100% conversion rate. That's not normal. You know, Gabriel making a mistake that he wasn't doing all season, that's an anomaly. Saliba, lazy defending, that's an anomaly to the season. So it's not a pattern of or a trend that I've been seeing leading up to this. They're not doing the same as Liverpool. The reason you were predicting Liverpool's downfall is because you've seen consistently a lot of slip-ups where finally you're like, you know what? This is what I've been predicting. Arsenal haven't shown me this. And I think Arsenal are going to go into the weekend. They're going to redeem themselves. I think a lot of players need to redeem themselves because Arteta didn't deserve the criticism.
Also,
that he
Villa
got
don't have
during the week.
Luis or Kamara, by the way. Let's get that in.
Is Luis out? I know Kamara's been out. I didn't know Luis was out.
I think Douglas Luiz is out. Sorry.
Okay, I didn't even know that, which makes it even better to them. Listen, even if he was playing, I think this Arsenal team is much better than them. I think Aston Villa have been dropping off since, I think it's ever since that Luton game where, remember when if they would have won, they would have won top of the league and they ended up drawing at Luton, something like that. It's ever since then, I don't know what happened. And they had so many disappointing results. So going to this Arsenal team, listen, I think Arsenal are going to find it easy to play against them. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
I think Arsenal are going to beat Aston Villa. Like,
I think Arsenal smash them. They've got a lot of players missing Villa. Arsenal's home form is imperious. I don't even think Arsenal played badly against Bayern Munich. I think they got caught out.
Can you unpack this Bayern Munich stuff? Because you're actually getting cooked for this Bayern Munich takes.
What stuff? I'm not.
You're saying, oh, Saka should have had a penalty and Arsenal.
I'm not getting cooked. People are just wrong. It's not. It's only a cooking if when people are saying it, you're feeling the heat, right?
Wait, how are we wrong if the referee actually agreed with us and he didn't give a penalty?
Yeah,
you're wrong, sir.
Hang on a minute.
Wasn't a penalty.
So because the referee did it, that makes you right. Considering
so
how
what
bad
makes you
refereeing
right? But what makes you right?
What I mean is, it's my opinion, right? And what I mean is, you can only be
no opinion that's a right opinion.
hang on, no. I agree. What I'm saying is that I don't feel like I'm being cooked because when people are giving me shit, I don't feel under any pressure. I'm not getting hot under the collar because I believe I'm right. Now, I respect that you see it differently. I'm not cooking anybody for thinking or trying to cook anyone that thinks it isn't. I've just looked at it and I view it as there is one angle, the main angle that's been shown that looks like he moves his leg out, but the TV angle, the reverse angle, and the sort of behind Saka angle, none of them show him moving himself towards the goalkeeper. They see the goalkeeper trying to win the ball. Saka lifts his leg. And then the one thing for me, and the question has still not been answered all week. If Saka was looking for the penalty, why did he lift his leg when the goalkeeper moved his leg in front of him and not just drag it like every other player does? And secondly, why when he was clipped, did he not dive and go down? Why did he try and continue running and stay on his feet? Why did his back stay
Because I don't
upright?
think he tried to dive. First of all, I don't think Saka dived because there was contact. The one argument that I have an issue with is people saying that Neuer tried to play for the ball. He didn't. He rushed out to close the angle. This is how I see it. He rushed out of his goal to make himself bigger, to close down the angle. Saka took a touch, saw obviously the goalkeeper's coming out. When you look at Saka, he was very aware of where the goalkeeper is. When Saka takes the touch, he starts moving closer towards Neuer than he is towards the ball. People want to say it's because of the momentum, because he's sprinting. I hear all that. But it doesn't mean that anything Neuer did was wrong. I don't understand why the goalkeeper coming out of his goal to close down the angle.
Where I disagree, and I showed the video on the last stream that I did with Mo and the boys. You clearly see in this video the goalkeeper swing his leg out for the ball and try and get it, and he's looking at the ball the whole time. He's looking at the ball.
I don't think that's a swing at the ball. I think this is where me and a lot of people that say it's a penalty
and that's where I don't feel cooked. And equally, you don't feel wrong, and I don't feel wrong because I see it as he came out. And I think he attempted to win the ball when he put his leg in Saka's path. I agree with you. He didn't try to dive. So anyone saying he dived, I believe is completely wrong. But my view is this. If he initiated the contact, I've never seen anybody initiate contact and not dive. So I don't understand still why you initiate contact and not dive. The best explanation for everybody in the middle is maybe it was just a coming together and it wasn't a foul and it wasn't a dive. But for me...
That's how I'm looking at it.
And that I agree with far more than people that have lied and said Saka died and a goalie was planted and stood still and didn't move, because those two things are actually wrong. So, but yeah, aside from the penalty, I don't think Arsenal play badly in the game. I think they had a few bad moments from an electrifying counter-attacking team on the night.
Yeah, but the Champions League is a moment's competition, though.
No, I understand. My point is they didn't perform badly. It's in their general play. So I think going into this Villa game, which is the point I was trying to make, is I don't think it's going to damage their confidence. Does that make sense? Because it wasn't as though nothing came off for them. They probably should have they really and truly, they with the Saka chance at the end, the Ben White chance, they probably should have won the game still, if they're being honest. There were some counterattacks afterwards, but I think they'll be confident. I think they'll beat Villa this weekend. Villa have also got a lot of players out injured. I think it's going to be another 2 or 3-0 to Arsenal this weekend, and it needs to be, because I believe both Liverpool and City will win as well. And if they both win, then it's going to make it. If you both win, it's going to make it a really exciting Super Sunday, because
this weekend is going to stay all as is. All as is. I think all three teams win. That's my honest opinion. Listen. I'm not guaranteeing we win against.
Aren't you away to Palace, or are you home?
Home. I'm not guaranteeing we beat Palace at home. I'm just saying it's obviously like more than likely that we're going to win. But anyway, the one thing I'll say regarding Aston Villa Arsenal on the Arsenal segment, I think Arsenal beat Aston Villa. I don't think it affects them negatively or anything. I think Villa probably score a goal, to be honest with you. Because they do execute good counterattacks. They still bypass City press about 4 or 5 times, so they are capable of like counterattacking really well. With Diaby, with Leon Bailey, the pace that they have, their dribbling ability, they're obviously going to get a goal. But I think on the other side, Arsenal are going to score 3 and they're going to end up winning. But when it comes to the Bayern tie, I completely disagree with what Terry's saying. I think Arsenal fans should be very disappointed with their team. I predicted Arsenal to slap Bayern 3-1. I think Bayern have been absolute rubbish this season. They were even mentally destroyed and hammered. When Thomas Tuchel comes out and says congratulations to Bayer Leverkusen publicly and basically gives up on the league as the Bayern manager, their whole team is cooked mentally. They had Matthias de Ligt and Eric Dyer at the back. It's just... The reality is they should have beaten Bayern, and there's no excuses. And now they have to go away to the Allianz. The reason why the energy is the same, City went away to the Bernabeu and drew 3-3. So obviously now, Real Madrid come back to the Etihad, and City have a job to do, but they drew away. Arsenal drew at home. So Arsenal fans should be very disappointed with the draw against Bayern, because Bayern now have a bigger chance of going through than them. I don't have them as like much bigger chance. I have like a 55-45 because I still believe Bayern are crap, to be honest with you. I don't think anyone underestimated Bayern. It was literally Arsenal mistakes that let them score. But for me, I just think, obviously with Arsenal, they have to go to the Allianz and win, which is something that I don't think they've ever done before. So, yeah, this is a very tough fixture for them, and they've put themselves in this situation because they should have beaten
became
Bayern.
a lot more difficult for them.
No
When it
excuses.
wasn't easy, but it was easier.
You understand? They're calling Goretzka. They have Eric Dyer, Matthias de Ligt. Alfonso Davies wants to leave. Neuer is about 40 years old. Harry Kane is a bottle job. Isn't that what you all say? Leroy Sané ain't played there in like 5 months.
Sam, I think there's a difference though between being disappointed with the result and the performance making them lack confidence going into the Villa game, was what I was kind of referring to. But yeah, Bayern are the favourites now, and I think from this point moving forward, if I'm going to pick up someone to proceed, Bayern now are my narrow favourites in that. I think they'll go through. I don't think they'll batter Arsenal.
UCL, though.
Sorry?
No, but that's not what they're saying. They're talking about the performance going into the league.
Yeah, I'm talking about the performance impacting their league form. I'm not talking about the performance.
Yeah, we're all in agreement they're going to beat Villa anyway.
Yeah. But that's the only reason I said it. But yeah, look, I think they are the favourites now, Bayern Munich, to go through, because they're still Bayern Munich. It's at their ground, and Arsenal have looked a little bit naive in the Champions League knockout games for me, in terms of maybe a little bit of confidence lacking and things like that. And if they do turn it round, and I say turn it round, it's a draw. But if they do go through, then it's a massive scalp for Arsenal, and they're progressed to a semi-final, which nobody outside of maybe a few Arsenal fans predicted. I remember a lot of gooners at the beginning of the year. I remember straight facts with Lee almost being perplexed that some Arsenal fans even said they get to the quarters, let alone or it may have been the semis. I may have got that slightly wrong. And he said, I just don't think we'll be ready for that yet. And it wasn't even Lee being negative. I think Lee was just giving an honest opinion. So they're doing a decent job. But yeah, this weekend, I don't think they'll have any problems. They will have some problems in the game, but I think they'll beat Villa in the end fairly comfortably. Viewers, would love to get your predictions.
Can I ask
on
a question?
Can
I ask a question? And that's obviously for everyone in the comments as well. Because I know there's a huge Arsenal majority here. If Arsenal go out to Bayern, let's say they finish second in the league.
Why, Staffy.
And if they finish second in the league, is that a bad season for Arsenal?
Does he
compared to last
overtake
season? Or?
Klopp's legacy?
No, forget that. No, I'm being for real right now. If he doesn't touch his legacy until he starts winning stuff.
Yeah, exactly. There you are.
No, but you know what I said? I said if he wins the double, I think he does. Yeah, a double is a huge thing. Anyways, forget about the double right now. If Arsenal get knocked out to Bayern with the way we've seen them, but I want to say battle at home, but they were disappointing at home, and they finished second in the league, where does that leave us? Does Arteta deserve to get sacked? Is it a progression?
What's he done? What's he done in the league?
Second.
How far off the top by the final day of the season?
Well, it's going to be close anyways, regardless of where we are right now.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think if he finishes a point or two off the top and pushes right to the end.
Yeah, but Klopp finished a point behind Pep twice. No one gives a fuck.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Doesn't matter. His question is, should he be sacked or not?
Yeah, actually,
I said, does he deserve to get sacked, or did he have a progressive?
I think
season?
you can call it a failure.
He's asking if he's a failure or not.
No. Does he? Yeah, I mean, again, is it a failure of a season to win no trophies? Yes. Should the manager be sacked coming that close to winning the Premier League, unless you believe you can find a better alternative, someone you know is going to make that team even better, then you don't change him. If, for instance, they go out to Bayern, but between now and the end of the season end up finishing 8 points off top, then I think you look at sacking him. I think context in that manner is key. But if he pushes his Liverpool City team right to the final day and just misses out, I think you got to stick with him personally.
No,
for at least one more year. But I mean, there does come a point, and I did say that end of last season, there comes a point where it's got to be based on results. But if you've got a team that comes second in the league and you've pushed one of the best teams ever right to the end, you are a really good team. I know the aim of the game is to win trophies, but there's also an argument to say that if you're that good, you're really that good. The one question mark that's in there is what you said, Staffy. He's cup record. I know he won the FA Cup year one, but his cup record needs to be looked at as well, because picking up the cup here and a cup there can always help you. But I don't think, if he's that close to winning the league title, I don't think he'll be sacked, and I don't think he deserves to be.
But Terry, here's the thing: who's attainable right now in world football? I agree he shouldn't be sacked based on who's attainable. So,
but I'm not talking about what's available out there, Husam. I'm just talking about, did he do his job, or did he mess up?
Things, let's just put it this way, Staffy. What had this been straight fact 2018, and there are 5-6 incredible managers available out there in the world? Yes, sack him, get a new manager in. But is he a failure? Even if he stays, yes, it's a failure. There is no
by definition of having 0 trophies. Let me add a little bit of.
We sit here and have conversation about Klopp's legacy. No one says we finished a point behind Pep. No one gives a fuck in the grand scheme of things. No one says we lost to Real Madrid in the Champions League final. Oh, they're the most heritage club. No one gives a fuck. They say he got to 3 Champions League finals, 1-1. He was in 3 title races, 1-1. That's what they say. So let's not now change our energy. Factually speaking, if Arteta leaves this season empty-handed, he has failed. Factually.
I agree with you. I'm saying, listen, when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, you finish a season trophy list, that is a failure. Now, when you start adding the context, which is why I asked this question, I feel like I did my best impression of Footy Judge Mo here because everyone's going mad over that question. This is not what personally I think. I actually want to know what people think because they will. And there, you know this. You work up with a lot of Arsenal fans. You know there's going to be a big bunch that are going to say, you know what it is? It's still a progression of a season because we improved in our league form. Yes, we didn't win, but we at least maintained second. And we went into the Champions League for the first time in 7 years. And
you have to.
Maintaining second, Husam, means you didn't regress. That's what I'm saying. They're going to be like,
the only reason why Arteta would be Arsenal manager is because there's no one available.
Yeah, but that's also but that's also a fair point, and that's also this is the thing. This is a question that shouldn't be posed to a reductionist who's going to boil down a relatively complex answer to a simple yes or no, because it isn't a simple yes or no. Some people will and go, didn't win a trophy, got to be sacked. Well, who are you going to bring in? Get me Simeone. What if Simeone says no? So straight away, that logic is flawed because if Arsenal believe Simeone can make them better, forget everybody else's opinion, and Simeone's attainable, then yeah, he hasn't won a trophy in 3 or 4 years, didn't win the league twice, get a better manager. But if Simeone doesn't want to come, if Alonso doesn't want to leave Bayer Leverkusen, if Inzaghi doesn't want to leave Inter, what do? You don't go for a manager who's just as untested or just as young or hasn't won a major trophy. Surely you have to aim for someone that you feel has got a guarantee. However, it's different if the manager has lost the dressing room and is going backwards because you've got to stop that rot. So if, for instance, they start going backwards, yes, you may not find a manager that you look at as, wow, he's a guarantee of a league title, but we need to bring somebody in because it's going backwards for us now. And I think that the problem is with this question is people that love Arteta, it's almost they'll find any excuse to say, no, don't sack him. But the people that dislike him, it's get him out as quick as possible. And arguably, it's because both sets of fans that think like that want to be right in the debate. Where I view it through the prism, because I'm not an Arsenal fan, just of, I think you should always look to improve your team and club. But you've got to truly believe it's going to improve you. If you go from Gabriel Jesus up front to Harry Kane, there's a very, very good thought process that says you're going to get better at scoring goals. But if you go from Arteta to De Zerbi, is there a guarantee you're going to be as good? Is there a guarantee you're going to get over the line or a better chance of getting over the line? The answer is no, probably. So you have to weigh all those options.
Let me ask you a question, Terry. I want to ask you a question. You're Edu.
Yeah.
You are Edu. And you can now make decisions for Arsenal Football Club. I'm Zidane. I call you, I say I want to manage Arsenal. Do you sack Arteta?
Depends. Again, I'd ask some questions first. Why do you want to manage Arsenal? How long do you want to be here for? What style of football do you want to play? What do you make of this current squad?
Let's say 4-year contract, 3-year contract, Zinedine Zidane. Would you take?
Okay, so this is what I would say. If it's a 4-year contract, loves Arsenal, he looks at Arteta's style of play and says, I can take that and those players, I can get them to the next level. I don't need to change too much. I just need 2 or 3 additional players. Then I think you go for that gamble. Yes.
Okay, same question applies for Simeone, Ancelotti, and these guys. Are we in agreement?
With Ancelotti, yes. Simeone, I don't know if he wouldn't play the same brand of football. So I think Simeone would potentially have to rebuild. And then you'd be
boring football anyway right now.
I don't think they do. But they say that. Okay, I'm not too sure if
Let's
Simeone
say for the sake of argument, yes.
if he's compatible, yes. If he has to rebuild and goes, I need 15 new players, the answer should be no, because then you're kind of starting again. And when
I'm in agreement. No problem.
you don't start again. Yeah.
I'm in agreement. No problem. So we agree on the who would I get to replace Arteta part. We also agree who I wouldn't get to replace Arteta. So if it's De Zerbi, Amorin, blah blah, all these guys, yes, I agree. No, you shouldn't get them because it's a risk, and he's going to start again, and it's a project.
And I know what the comeback is from Arteta outers will be: just pay the money. We're big Arsenal. Just get those managers. It's not as simple as that. Like, those guys are very hard to attain, and if you can't. I mean, I hear people say mad stuff. I don't know who it was. I saw a clip. Someone saying, well, Klopp's available now. We should go and get him instead. Klopp's just going to say no. I think you might have to offer him £100 million a year and he can still say no. So sometimes people have to be realistic in terms of some of the managerial choices some gooners that want Arteta out give you. It's like Staffy thinking he could pull Megan Fox. It just isn't going to happen. Never. Never.
Big up Megan Fox.
Never happened.
Anyway,
maybe she watches Staffy TV and when I blow up, she watches my money.
About your riz, bro. All right, sweet.
The point that I was getting to is we have just indirectly agreed on admitting the reason that we're keeping Arteta this season if he fails is the fact that the tenable managers aren't better than him. This is the reality.
It's partly that, but again, in my head, I also understand if Edu. One thing we don't understand is the intangibles. What's going on behind the scenes? How much control? Stability. How much control Arteta's got? How much he's running of the club now? How much of what's gone right in the last 2 years is down to him? You may find that Edu and the club look at it and say, "Listen, he's such an integral part." Now, I don't agree with that model because it means if Arteta himself leaves in 12 months to manage Real Madrid, you're left in a real pickle where you've got to start again from scratch. But there are loads of intangibles that go into these conversations that need to be said. But could you call it a failure if he wins nothing? Yes, I think at the elite end, title winning spectrum, it is a failure. You know, for a big club, not winning a trophy is a failure. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. But does that constitute to sacking him? Not sure. Let's go to some super chats here. First one says Klopp in the same time won the UEFA Champions League, Premier League with less money. Yeah, but what I would say, Jack, again, you've got to look at is the trajectory of both clubs when each one was taken over and where Klopp was. Klopp was already a back-to-back winning Bundesliga manager and Champions League finalist. Context again, and I'm being fair to Arteta here, is absolutely key. Liverpool are small, only won the Premier League with empty seats. It's not true.
Amazing joke there.
Liverpool would take Arteta if he was available.
Nah, I don't think we would.
Would you? Would you take him if he was available?
Nah. I'd rather Amorim over Arteta.
Okay. I feel if rivals are talking about sackability, you should keep your manager. If rivals want your manager to stay, you should sack your manager. Yeah, there's an element of truth to that. There is an element of truth. Robert here says Arsenal beat Villa 2-1 from 1-0 down at half time. Has winners' goals. Arsenal beat Bayern 1-0. Bayern will try to attack and open up. Yeah, that could happen. That could definitely happen. Arsenal will beat Villa 2-0 is what a man like Dio says. Arteta in, even if he gets second, as long as the team does not capitulate. After all, Klopp has been a bridesmaid more than he's been a bride.
Actually, the team that has been the top most at Christmas and lost league titles is Arsenal Football Club. Big up Dio, though.
Yeah. Crazy saying Arteta out stays 4 years unless 8th. Thank you, bro. That's disappointing, but why would you throw the baby out with the bathwater? Yeah, I think we're in the panel all in agreement. Remember, Staffy was asking a question. The question doesn't mean you believe the negative connotation of that question. It's just trying to have a conversation. It's why we're about to change a lot of the straight facts.
That's the question, bro. I didn't know
questions are not statements; they're questions. It's funny when y'all talk about Saka's penalty when Arsenal didn't play well at their home, and
we talked about that.
They are supposed to thrash us when we are crap, not rely on a ref. Listen, I agree, Ben. Anyone who said they were going to thrash you is wrong. Actually, I did kind of say that. Let me preface
I said
this.
that as well. Ben is a Bayern fan, and he thought that
You
himself.
said it. What I said was this. I said I think it will be close, but I said if Arsenal score a few early goals and the defense and they keep their mindset, they could go on to score 3, potentially 4 in the game. But I did say the mindset was what was going to be key in that game. Nah, Terry, you have to come on the parade on me. Listen, if you're paying, bro, maybe I'll come along. Maybe I'll come along. Arsenal definitely is not good because only the 2 players. Arsenal are good because every single player is running back. Man, stop. Saka acts like a second right back non-stop. And Brighton, how many times Havertz is the defender? Oh, listen, they defend brilliantly as a team and as a unit, Arsenal, and all the top teams do. You have to defend as a unit. It's as simple as that. We won a Champions League 6 times. W fans.
With fans.
With fans. What about you, Arsenal? Sorry, I already done that super chat. Are these all men's football clubs only? On that graph, that's the football club that encompasses the women's game as well. Yes, but the vast majority of the money in and out is related to that. Thank you for being a member. I'll always appreciate it. And of course, everyone smash the like button. Totally agree. Tel just said that fans need to be worried about the financials going on at a club and not just watch the games. And of course, fans should always be all over their finances. I should be worried. I have that guy laughing my ass off. I have the guy that built the biggest
MLB club from ruins.
Yeah, okay, cool. Fine. If listen,
yeah, but that's the point. He's treating it like it's a baseball club, but the baseball rules are completely different. There is no trades, there is no drafts, there is none of that shit.
There's no relegation. Also, you do realize that every single owner of a football club, pretty much ever, is successful at making millions and or billions. That's why they can afford the club. But look how many have been ruined. Just because it doesn't mean you're good at everything. Managers are not failures. Owners are. Untrue. Twisted. You're trying it, Twisted. I've got to shut that one down. Klopp should have been sacked years ago. He fouled pretty much every season except for 3. Only finished top 2 3 times in 9 years. Yeah, that's poor, isn't it?
Yeah, but that was at the start. Same way I didn't say Arteta should be sacked at the start when he finished 8th or 5th because of the position that the club was in. And there has been no more difficult rebuild in Premier League history than Liverpool with this club side. When he first took over, he made that team a Premier League champion. So yeah, in 4 years.
Nick here is a sporting fan here. Amorin is no Mourinho, very similar style to Klopp. Perfect next coach for Liverpool to go and go to constant pressure and vertically. Has a bit of Portuguese pragmatism, though I will admit. Thank you for the breakdown.
Nick. Thank you for letting
and by the way, I agree. I've always said that Liverpool will not go to a manager after Klopp who is completely alien to Klopp's style, the same as Pep won't go to a manager that's completely alien, because otherwise you're undoing a decade of work. They're stupid. Thoughts on Arsenal's owners saying they're going to ban season ticket holders that gave Bayern fans early entry? I didn't give. A lot of Arsenal fans sold their tickets for massive profit. 1, it's dangerous. 2, it's stupid. And that's directly profiteering off your club. You should be at that game. But yeah, why would you not be at that game? Oh, I'm going to make some money. Yeah, I think they're right to ban them personally. Ban them, and then you let an actual Arsenal fan that wants that season ticket buy that season ticket. That's what you do. Liverpool can't win the EPL with that away kit.
Yeah, let's blame the kit, and you're using Liverpool. It's 2024, brother. Join us in the new year. This is Troll Football Facebook post from 2010.
Doesn't Todd Bowley own the Dodgers? If I remember correctly, the biggest Major League Baseball team is the Yankees. They are. But yeah, I mean, the Dodgers are big. Everyone knows who the Dodgers are. But again, it doesn't mean you're good at everything. Are you kidding
Dodgers
me?
and Yankees are like United and Liverpool.
Okay.
You pick who's the biggest. Well, it is
Liverpool are the Yankees, of course.
No, they're not.
Yes,
are you kidding me? Stats don't lie. The last time we finished with over 80 points was 20 years ago and never won a Champions League, let alone getting past the quarterfinals. He's building a monster.
Let alone get past the quarterfinals. How long you been supporting Arsenal for, brother? You got to the final in 2006 when Thierry Henry passed it to Victor Valdez 1-1 3 times.
Semi-final in 2009 when Ronaldo did the madness. So you've been further than that,
semi-final 2009.
Thank you, by the way, to Halftime Hooks for gifting these memberships out. Really appreciate that, brother. Zabi, Mikel, our childhood friends, need to beat Bayern.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Zabi will have, well, you might be able to ask him some advice, but there won't be much going on there. But look, I want to thank everybody that has tuned in today. I really appreciate it a lot. Remember to go and check out the squad. The links in our pinned into our live chat or in the comment section below. New show, 9 a.m. tomorrow. We're not in the studio this week because it's half term and I've not been able to get up to London because I have children that I must look after. It's part of the law here when you're a father that you must look after your children. So I've not been up to London to film in the studio, but that's out 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. So make sure you check that out with the boys over there. Staffy, Husam, thank you very, very much indeed. Always a pleasure to sit and talk ball. Hang on a minute. Who would you want, Spurs or City, for a final game of the season?
Who do you want that final game
Who
of the
do we want
season?
it? No, I wouldn't trust Spurs. I wouldn't trust Spurs. I wouldn't trust them. I wouldn't trust them.
For the integrity of the game, I don't want to deal with that.
No, yeah, I wouldn't trust it either. Listen, people, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon. Peace.
Atalanta! Vamos! I said from 2 hours ago from when I went live, give me Atalanta. Guess who got Atalanta? Whoop, whoop. The sound of the police. Whoop.